Oh, yeah.
2, 1. Hey there, gang. A little bit of lowrider for you here as we get going here. Let us know if you can see us and hear us. Give us a 5x5. If you wouldn't mind in YouTube land. And welcome to everyone in YouTube joining us this evening. This is the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Today's the 17th of September. It's 2022. It's Constitution Day for, basically anyone who understands what Constitution Day is. Happy Constitution Day to you. More 5x5s. If you got a few people here watching on YouTube, 5x5 for Renee. Thank you very much, Renee. Sheraton Farmer, 5x5. Gary Ride, sounds good. Awesome. Okay. Oh, hang on. Warrior Class is giving us a 7.62 by 51. Not the 5x5 I was expecting, but well received anyway, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Warrior Class, I will say that 7.62 by 54 is actually better.
Hang on. What about 7.62 by 39? You guys have any problems with that?
It's basically a 30-30 Winchester.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
so we're got a 5x5 from Waypoint. Hey there, gang. Okay, bringing down the music. We can start our little chat here. First of all, I want to say thank you very much. I got 2 people in the chat right now and expecting a third here real soon that joined us September 14th. Remember, the 14th of September. We actually went up to Jeff City and actually we got a little bit accomplished up there, I think. We've got stories to tell about our day up there. I think we were 11 strong at our strongest point with the most people. So actually, I think we actually made an impression that way. So, and of course, welcome to Hunter, the Parmesan cheese expert. It wouldn't be a podcast without Hunter, the Parmesan cheese expert, with us. So thank you for joining us. Okay. And also, too, I wanted to mention a couple of things. First off, before I forget, I don't want to forget, I am going to Travis's meeting tomorrow. That's the Prepared Homestead. So the Prepared Homestead, Travis in Texas County. I will be attending the meeting tomorrow. Hey, we got Casey Rich with us, too. There we go.
Hey, man.
Good deal.
Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see, man. Well, actually, not for some of us. We saw Casey Rich just this past Wednesday.
Yes, it was a sighting.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And
Maybe it's a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Both kind of hairy.
Yep. So, so just be aware, gang. Travis's meeting is this Sunday. I'm sorry, I keep saying Saturday. So we're talking tomorrow. The 18th of September is Travis's meeting. So now the special thing about the meeting this time, well, Travis's meetings are always special, but apparently there is a drawing for silver. And I think there's some bullion and constitutional silver involved in these drawings. So at any rate, I will be going there, and everyone who wants to go is always welcome. If you don't know, and if you've not been to a meeting before, all you have to do is email Travis, and he'll give you the instructions, the directions, the address, all that fun stuff. So his email is preparedhomestead@protonmail.com. So that's how you can get a hold of Travis. So, all right, good deal. We've got Voodoo Queen with us. We've got LaTanya King with us. Gary Ride, Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan's joined us again. Thank you, buddy. Of course, we have Hunter with us, Waypoint 3, Warrior Class, and Sheraton, and Renee. So welcome to all of you. Okay, gang. And, oh, look, here inside our chat here, we got John Williams with us now. We've got Goatfoot Grant. We've got Liberty Revolutionary. We've got Casey Rich. And then we've also got Rusty Shackelford as well. And so out of this bunch here today, almost all of us actually went up to Jefferson City this past Wednesday. So actually, we should have a kind of a fun time talking and regaling, basically the stories of what happened up there, and also the intel that we gathered, which we'll be very happy to share with you tonight. If any politicians in Jefferson City are watching tonight, welcome, and thank you for joining us, by the way. Okay, well, apart from announcing that Travis's meeting is tomorrow, I also wanted to let you guys know that everything went well on September 14th. Now, I didn't get a chance to get a standalone video out about it, but it's better with the gang because these are the guys who were there. So, basically, I think we should probably start out by saying the purpose of the meeting, pardon me, the purpose of the meeting was very specific. The whole reason we went up there and met together in Jefferson City was to do what we call knock and shock. And knock and shock is just our code word for saying knocking on doors and talking to representatives and senators. We want to actually get some FaceTime with them and actually explain something that we would like to happen. And so what we talked about was eliminating sales tax on food. And we got a lot of stories to tell, but I'll give you the broad strokes first. And on the broad strokes, is that coming from KC's mic? All that background noise?
Hang on, let me.
Okay.
Casey, can you like hit the yeah. There you
okay. Sorry about that, gang. So the broad strokes are very, very, very important because we visited both Republicans and Democrats. We did both. And we also, by the way, I wasn't there for it, so I'll let people who were there tell the story about the meeting with the governor. Now, I was there for the meeting with the lieutenant governor, and I was there for the meeting with the Secretary of State, but I did not meet with the governor. But others in our group did, so they'll be able to tell you that story. But I want to let you guys know that this was well accepted. This whole idea of the whole idea of eliminating sales tax on food is definitely a very big bipartisan, well-liked plan. So as opposed to some of the other things the governor is proposing. So what I do know is that you can still make phone calls and send emails all the way up till Wednesday of this coming up week. Don't want you to wait till Wednesday, but I'm saying that's how much time we have left. So please do continue. If you have not emailed and called the governor, please do so. Very important that you start there. And then after that, call your senators, call your representatives, and let them know you called and emailed the governor as well. So without further ado, I think I should just open it right up because we've got lots of stories from being up there in Jefferson City. But the guys that met with the governor, I think, should chime in. Let us know what that was like.
You see, that's your story, man.
Casey?
All right, if the background noise ain't too bad. Yeah, basically, I think I was like the first one to get there, and I was kind of waiting around there on the stage down there at the rotunda, and a few other people showed up. Let's see, we had John wasn't there yet.
Gary was
Grant
there.
was there. Gary and Al.
Robert Smith. Al.
Yeah, I already mentioned Al. I think that was pretty much it right there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep.
Yeah, Patrick and John were just a little late, but I was wearing my Chiefs hat, which for some reason I'm not tonight. But I guess what happened is everybody knows Governor's a big Chiefs fan, so he was walking by. He had his I guess guards with him or whatever. I guess he looked over and see my hat and came over and said, "Hey, how about those Chiefs?" And we turned it into a conversation about the food sales tax. And basically, what the guy said is I kept mentioning it all day. I mean, Pat did most of the talking, but I chime in with that part. Is when we talked, the governor was not averse cutting sales tax on food. I mean, if something like that came up to his desk, he'd probably sign it, if there's enough pressure. The thing is, we all know he's got his ag agenda, right? All the tax and stuff on that. And that's what he wants first and foremost. And I guess, he didn't want anything else getting on the agenda to mess with it. But, the thing is, if we can just get some of those people up there in Jeff City, some of those reps and senators, put some pressure on them. And in fact, now that, I guess, where did I hear that? Last night on John's show? Who was it? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Pat mentioned in the video something about that the governor now wants the legislature to come up with a tax plan. Is that correct?
That is correct.
There you go, man. That's their opportunity. Because like I said, he's not averse to it. It's just he has his agenda. And now that the legislature actually gets to, put in their own 2 cents worth, I don't see why they won't put in that sales tax on food. Because everyone we talk to when we're up there, they're saying, "Oh, it's a great idea. It's a great idea." But
yep,
I don't know. They're all afraid of blocker, I think. Is what it is.
Well, also too, I mean, a lot of them reminding us that it wasn't their session. Therefore, the governor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we reminded them at every meeting, in every office, they can apply pressure to the governor.
That's right. So all they got to do is keep it. Because if they would get on him like we try to do,
Mm-hmm.
I think it happened. But now they got this, man. These people need to step up. I mean, this is. Sales tax on food is something anybody can agree with, and it's the best tax as far as across the board. Helps everyone. As far as like we've all been saying, the ag agenda only has a certain small percentage of people it's going to help out. Probably going to help out a lot of corporations and big businesses and stuff
Right.
too. All right, and of course we the people take second fiddle to that, unless we the people step up and say make it happen otherwise. But he's. Like I said, when we sat there and talked to him, it's just, he wasn't averse to a food sales, getting rid of sales tax on food. He has his own agenda. And he was saying something like, well, you can't never get the legislature to agree on stuff like that, if I remember right. Do you remember that too, Grant?
I know that we pressed him really hard on the tax credits and the constitutionality of them, and he did not respond very well to that at all. And he kind of was passing the buck. In regards to that, he's like, well, why did the legislature, pass all these tax credits and leave ag out to dry? And I'm like, I mean, unfortunately, like that's true. The legislature and Robert even mentioned to him, like the legislator should not be passing tax credits that are unconstitutional by any sense of imagination. The thing is that someone has to start somewhere. If you're going to enact constitutionality. So.
Well, the thing is, though, there's nothing unconstitutional about getting rid of sales tax on food.
No, there's
That's
not.
the thing we were asking. And he said he wasn't averse to it. He said he had no problem with it, but he was saying, the legislature can never agree on stuff like that. And basically, he just didn't want it interfering with his ag agenda. But now, if he's telling the legislature, hey, come up with 600, million in tax cuts, dude, there you go. They should be jumping on this because we've talked to everybody. Everybody's saying, well, I don't think we'll be able to get it on the agenda. Well, now they can get it on the agenda.
Yep.
There's no excuse.
Well, we're not done.
Really is no excuse.
Go ahead.
There's no reason why they can't demand that. Go, what I'm saying? Put it up there and see what happens.
Well, and one thing too that I observed that has not changed since April, which was the last time we were all up there as a group, was that the Senate is pretty much ruling the roost of things. They're holding legislation hostage. They're the ones that are basically guiding the agenda. And that's something that I remember from, just from, all the reps we talked to, and even some of the senators we talked to as well.
Well, a lot of senators, they didn't have a problem with that taking the sales tax off food either. Now there was one.
I
think
we'll tell that story here in a little while.
That might have came, or John mentioned that on his show the other night. Yeah, but that was I heard that and I was like, wow, really? Okay. It didn't surprise me, but it surprised me they said it like they did. But hey, at least they're out front and honest with it. But most of them are for it. I don't now with the governor calling them out and say, hey, come up with 600 million tax cuts, it should be on there. Any rep or senator listening, almost everyone we talked to was for it. Like I said, that one big exception. So, why would you not put that on the agenda now? They got a perfect opportunity to do it.
Yes, they do.
And some will come out and say, well, you cut that, what happens later on or something. But that could be with anything. This one needs to go. There's plenty of other states that don't have sales tax on food. We can make it happen. Surplus we're getting. But even before this, quote unquote inflation came up, we were still pretty, it's not like we had a negative deficit in our budget, was it? If I remember, it was still some bit of a surplus.
Yeah, we did have a surplus. We've had a surplus for many years.
That's what I'm saying. So why not get rid of the sales tax on food? So, hey, reps and senators, we were up there talking to you yesterday, the other week, earlier in the week in Jeff City, and y'all saying it's a good idea. So, there's no excuse not to figure out a way to put that in the agenda. Again, I don't know who all gets to bring this agenda forward. If it's guys like the floor leaders, the Senate pro tems, and stuff like that, yeah, that's going to be a bit of a roadblock. But if you take them out of the picture, I think pretty much everybody else should bring it forward.
Yep. And once again, this falls in perfectly with what the governor's agenda was in the first place, which is tax cuts. I mean, it's tax cuts. I mean, and this actually works really, really well constitutionally in Minnesota. It fits all 3 sections of the Constitution for tax cuts. So this is a no-brainer.
In Missouri?
In Missouri. I'm sorry. What did I say?
You said Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Sorry about that. You guys have to forgive me.
They got it up there too.
Yeah. Well, actually, in Minnesota, they don't even have sales tax on food. So.
Yeah. So why can't we do it?
The story about the governor, I mean, I missed it. I think I got there to the group about 4 minutes after the governor had left. But we did meet with the lieutenant governor. We did meet with the Secretary of State, and we met with, I can't even remember how many senators and representatives versus legislative assistants, but we hit 63 offices, gang. 63 offices in one day. And it was
What y'all think of the lieutenant governor anyway?
What I think of him?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. He's a hard man to read. Because when he came out, he goes, "Gentlemen, you have 2 minutes." So that's pretty much.
2 minutes turned into, 5 or 10?
No, it turned into maybe 5. It didn't hit 10.
Well, it was a little bit.
Yep. He was intrigued by what we were talking about. There's no doubt about it. One of the things, okay, first off, I'm going to get something off my chest right now about what happened up in Jeff City, because we've been beating around the bush with it, and I think it's important that we name names. There is one office that we never feel welcome at. Never, ever, ever. And that would actually be who we lovingly call Senator Crab Cakes. His name is Lincoln Huff. And in his office, basically the LA was short with us. She said she wasn't interested in what we had to say about elimination of sales tax on food. And more importantly, and by the way, guys, I just call a spade a spade. We're an honest group here. We go up there, we do work, and we come back and report to the larger group that couldn't make it. But honest to God, she specifically said, we don't want any phone calls on this. So that's interesting to me, that someone who represents people in Jefferson City is literally saying, hey, listen, if our if who we're representing actually wants to get rid of sales tax on food, we're not even interested in hearing it. That's essentially the message we got from the LA. Now, I need to be very specific. We did not see Lincoln. He was not there in his office. He was actually in the Senate, when this happened. But this is consistent with the kinds of visits we've had in the office there before.
Hey, let me tell you something. Way that LA said that confidently. I'm sure Lincoln Huff probably feels the same way. I mean, if he doesn't, come on the show and tell us.
Yep.
But usually in LA, it's not going to come out straight out and say something like that. Usually they're more like, well, I'll pass it along, or I think he's support. But the way they said it, I imagine Lincoln Huff's probably the same thing.
Yep.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like an excuse. Sounds like an excuse for people in that district just to flood the lines out of spite.
I know. That would be funny. It's the last thing we need is calls on that. They should start getting a ton of calls on that.
Yep. And one more thing I would really like to remind people that are watching tonight is we were about 11 strong at our strongest point up there on the 14th. And it dwindled down to 4 people at the end of the day. And that's okay. This is the way it usually happens, because people, can't necessarily stay there all day. Some people join us for their lunch hour, which is really cool. I mean, shoot, they'll give up their lunch to come and, stomp down the halls with us. But these guys are approachable. You can talk to them if they're in their offices. We talked earlier about Bratton, Senator Bratton. Again, I have to give the man kudos. Every single time that I have caught him in the hallway, or he was in his office while I wanted to go talk to him, he has always made himself available to me, and he doesn't represent me. He's not my senator, yet he still is interested in what I have to say.
He's actually my senator.
Yeah, there you go. You see, Caleb, you could have been up there talking to him. I
know.
Oh, no,
I couldn't. My fuel pump's out.
I know your car's busted. Sorry about that. But guys, so to remind you all again, these guys are approachable. You can talk to them. Now, notwithstanding,
they love it when people spit. You spit in your hand, you go shake their hand.
Spit
your hand, go shake their hand.
No, we won't do that. We won't.
I mean, I remember we stopped.
Unless they spit first.
Well, we stopped by Caleb Rowland's office, and Pat and KC, you guys started talking about LA, and he didn't really seem any interested till I told him that I was from Boone County.
Yes, that's true.
And honestly, I saw his completely his physical demeanor changed.
It did
with that, and in all honesty, anyone that's watching this live stream right now, I know parts of the state are, 3.5 hours from Jeff City, but a lot of these reps or senators that we have problems with, I'm certain they don't hear a lot from people in their own district, and they probably would benefit more if they did.
I agree.
Even if you have to take a day off work, which I know it's a long drive for when you're in the Four Corners. I used to live in Maryville, and I know New Madrid's really far away from Jeff City as well, and Springfield and Joplin are both far away too. But you go up there and show your face, and you're like, hey, I'm here to keep you accountable, and this is something that would help us. It's really important to be involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to give a shout out right now to Gary Ride, who's actually on the YouTube side, and his friend Al, who actually showed up to run down the halls with us in Jefferson City. Sure. Thank you very much to both of you. Roberts,
can I
go ahead?
I didn't want to interrupt, but it's something I really, really want to add to what Grant was saying there. About some of these representatives not wanting to talk to anybody outside of their district or whatever, because we ran into others like that too. And here's the thing I don't get. First of all, a lot of them just say, well, you should just call your own representative or senator, like you should talk to no one else, or you shouldn't, go up to them because you're in a different district. But you know what? People don't live in a bubble. You know what I'm saying? When you go up there and talk about a subject, I guarantee you there's going to be people in their district that are thinking the same damn thing. It's not like everybody is in their own little county or something. We have no idea what anyone else is talking about or anything else. And plus, not only that, but these people, I guarantee you when they get business people, people representing corporations and stuff, I bet they don't sit there and say, hey, are you in my district? No, I ain't talking to you. Get out of my room. You don't do that. They just do it with us citizens. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And again, I don't know why they do that, because, look, when they make a vote, it affects the entire state. So you telling me I can't go talk to them when what they do is going to affect me and everybody else in the state? That doesn't make sense.
Let's
be of, by, and for the people, not, they're trying to compartmentalize us so we can't talk to anybody out of our district or county. And then they also want us to just not really do nothing except wait until it's time to vote and then vote for whoever's running. People say that stuff too. That's nonsense. We need to be up there all the time. If it's going to be of, by, and for the people, the only way it's to be for is of and by. If we ain't up there, you already see the attitude some of these people have. They really don't want us up there. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. They really don't want anybody in their own district up there either if they got that kind of attitude.
That's why we get in, face to face, FaceTime, as opposed to phone.
So,
but I will say,
if any of you are listening who say that, hey, sorry, we're coming back. This is our government. Yeah. All right, you don't own it. We own it. So we're gonna go up and talk to whoever we want.
Yeah, and I will say something that's very important to understand. This we do run into from time to time where they don't want to talk to people in their own districts. But I hate to say it.
Out of their district.
You're out of their districts. People that are not inside their districts. We've mainly gotten that from Democrats and from actually rhinos.
Yeah.
I don't think we've gotten it from anyone else. And we can identify rhinos for you tonight. I don't want to do that tonight, but I do think we will do that before the election. Who are the rhinos in Jeff City? Republicans in name only. Who are the guys who run with an R after their name, but they get Democratic corporate sponsorship, for funding their campaigns? We could talk about that. It's not necessary for this video, though. Go ahead.
I just started looking, right?
Okay. So, let's see. And Gary Ride says, Patrick and Casey, you're right. They were impressed with the size of our group. Yes, actually, honest to God, that does make an impression. When we went into, and gosh darn it, I have to say I'm going to talk again to going into Bratton's office, because it was us first. It was 11 of us in his office. And then the Americans for Prosperity came in after us. Do you guys remember that? And the whole office was full. I mean, it was just stuffed. And Bratton was just loving it. He absolutely loved that many people came to see him and wanted to talk to him. So, that was a tremendous opportunity for him. And also, too, I will say, for those of you who didn't know, Rick Bratton is very much, he likes the idea of getting rid of the food tax. So, he didn't say like...
Some of them are down-to-earth people. Some of them are really down-to-earth people.
Yep.
They really care about making Missouri a better place. And then it's aggravating when you get the ones that don't.
Yeah.
Also, can I say something about Senator Bratton? Now, the thing I like about the dude is he doesn't hold a grudge. He doesn't take nothing personal. Because me and him butted heads big time back.
HJR 79.
Back there, yes. Yeah, well, that and the other ones. I mean, we went toe to toe on that, And when I went up and talked to him, I said, "Hey, look, I know we had our differences before, but there's a bill you sponsored last time that I really would like to help you support if you're gonna do that bill again." And I said I would have helped you this time, but man, he was holding me up with the HJR 79, so I could never get around to it. But and I talked to him, and he's cool with it. Like I said, dude, don't I guess he understands not everybody's gonna agree with him on everything, and he doesn't take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really like about the dude.
Yep, me too. Bratton, I think that's the only issue that he and I have never seen eye to eye on was the ballot initiatives. That's it. He's a very solid conservative, and we're not. He's not a rhino. In other words, Gary Ride said something here that I'm going to talk about for a quick second. He says, "I think something needs to be said about the rhinos attacking poor Susie Pollock." And he is absolutely correct. I'm not sure I want to talk about that in depth right now. Specifically, the attacks Susie and her family are still getting to this day. But I do want to say that Susie was packing up her office while we were up there. We got a chance to talk to Susie, and so we spent a little bit of time there. Our whole group went in there. And, we just wanted to let her know how much we appreciated her, because for those of you who don't know, or those of you who weren't with us during the majority of SEPA, she was a huge ally during SEPA. She was not only solidly for SEPA, she was actually working the House as well to try and, convince others to get on board with SEPA, to help get co-sponsors. Even though she's an elected representative, and normally the grassroots do that, she still did that work on the inside. So Susie did not win her election, so she will be leaving office. I would encourage all of you, if you knew Susie, or if you appreciate the work she did to help get SEPA done, please give her a call, before.
I gotta say, when I met her, I thought she was, I'm sorry to interrupt. That you're done. I thought she was one of the nicest people you'd come across, especially for being a representative. She doesn't think she's better than anybody or anything. So yeah, I actually really like Susie.
Me too. And
it's a bummer to see her leave the house.
Yes, it is. We lost a big one when Susie didn't win, but I'm going to echo what Rusty said, and that is that Susie's not a politician; she's a person. And we don't have a lot of folks up there in Jeff City like that. She's kind of a needle in the haystack kind of person. And we were very, very lucky to have her at this moment in time, because she was working on the inside to help get SEPA done. So those of you who like the Second Amendment Preservation Act, if you don't mind, give her a call here this coming up week. She'll be up there. and let her know how much you appreciate her work, what she did for SEPA, what she's done for the state of Missouri, and just let her know that. And then hopefully she'll run for office again in the future, or, join a grassroots movement like ours. I mean, you never know. But I, for one, if Susie ever watches this, I mean, she knows how I feel, but thank you so much for everything you have done for the state of Missouri. You helped make it a better place, and helping get SEPA done, you got a gold star for that one. Thank you very much, Susie.
Yes, definitely.
And then Ganai wants to say hello. The interview John did with Tony let us know a lot of the issues in Jeff City. So I'll tell you what, if you don't mind, before we continue talking about our trip to Jeff City, John, would you mind talking about that? Because unfortunately I was working yesterday and I couldn't catch your interview.
Sure. Basically, Tony and I talked about session, kind of what their governor wants to get done, but we also discussed things like, getting rid of personal property tax, of course, civil asset forfeiture, things of that nature. But, and then, we just kind of chatted about legislative things in general. Now, he's going to submit more bills for getting rid completely of civil asset forfeiture, even though the laws in Missouri state that, you can't take somebody's belongings until they've been convicted, but because of the equitable sharing thing from the feds, well, he's wanting that to go away. Also, another bill on, I think he's going to be looking at red light cameras, just getting rid of them. He said nobody's really using them right now per se, but he wants them gone. Anything with red light cameras, any of that stuff, he would like to be rid of those. Some tax issues, things of that nature. That's what he's looking at doing. So, he's pretty positive. He's staying positive on trying to enact some of these tax changes in the special session. But, again, it really hinges on what the governor, how much he's going to compromise or cooperate on the whole thing. And so that is in essence the conversation we had. It was a good interview. I did tell him that when he had bills, with civil asset forfeiture, anything like that, removal of tax burdens, to please let me know. I will bring him back on the show during the next legislative session so he can talk about those bills and let everybody know so we're all informed on them. And, maybe there's one bill in there that's super special that we can do a little pushing on top of some of the other things that I want to see get done. But he does believe that at some point that we will be rid of personal property tax. He said it's inevitable because so many states don't have it and their infrastructure and everything's fine. It's just...
Oh, I was just going to say what needs to be gotten rid of is real estate tax.
That's more difficult, and I gotcha. And yes, we do need to do that, but that's not something can be done in a single year. In fact, I've been doing research on that for 2, and I've been talking to people that are out of office now that tried to get it done 15 years ago and where they feel they failed. So my research has not ended on that, but 2023 is not the year to bring that one up. It'll be 2024.
Hey, real quick, what's going on with the gold and silver bill, man?
Yep, it's Mises is taking a quick look at that. So we're on our way. Yep. So don't worry, gang. Gold and silver is still coming. Yeah, we got a little sidetracked with this whole sales tax on food thing, but at the same time, it was the right time. It was the right place. So we need to strike while the iron's hot. But I know we're 33 minutes in. I'd like to remind everyone the mission remains the same. It hasn't changed. What that means is if you haven't yet, please call the governor. Please email the governor. And when you call the governor's number, and all that's right down below in the description section, but you can see it right here. Just scroll down on the governor's page to the contact us. There's a phone number, and also there's a form for email. On the phone number, it only works business hours. So that would be Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And that's it. They don't have voicemail. They do during working hours. They have voicemail, but not during non-working hours. So please do call talk to the governor's representative, whoever answers the phone, and say, let's get rid of the sales tax on food. Oh, that's another thing. While we were there in Jefferson City, they did admit to us in the governor's office, that they're getting a lot of calls to remove the sales tax on food. So thank you very much, all of you who are making those phone calls. Don't stop. Now is not the time to stop. Go ahead.
What? Do you think everybody making those phone calls demanding that, you think that might have made him say, okay, guys, give me 600 million?
I don't know.
Tax cuts.
Don't know.
I think maybe he's kind of throwing it out there, giving them an opportunity to do it.
Yep. I don't know. That might be it. But I do know that,
like I said, he's not averse to it. He's getting all those calls. He knows it's popular.
Yep.
Why not?
Yep, it's possible, but I do know that it's our gang that is pushing it, and some people are jumping aboard our train here, and that's wonderful, and I'm very appreciative. Yes. Ron Calzone, I was going to get in. Ron Calzone is joining us on this, but Ron Calzone, he's always interested in liberty and freedom, and we could talk more about that later, but I want to say something here. Gary Ride put in another comment, and guys, I'll get to all your comments. I'm not trying to favor Gary here, but he was there, so he's bringing up stuff and spurring my memory. He said, hey, Patrick, who is the young senator, state rep that you talked to that in the hallway, and John showed him the tax numbers on his phone? What was his name? His name is Bishop Davison, by the way. He represents Springfield, or part of Springfield.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, he was very receptive to what we had. He was, and he's a hard nut to crack. I actually know Bishop Davison, and I knew him when he was campaigning, and actually kind of knew him before he campaigned, before he went into office or campaigned for office. And that man is a hard nut to crack, and he's very smart. So at any rate, he was talking about different avenues. He thought that getting rid of income tax was more moral than maybe getting rid of sales tax on food. We had an argument for him immediately on that. And that was, basically, if you want the tax cuts to represent everyone equally, and you can only do so much, just get rid of the sales tax on groceries, because that's for everybody. Not everyone has income. Therefore, not everyone pays income tax. Ergo, not everyone will benefit from a cut in income tax. So it's actually a very, very simple concept to understand. And, it didn't take a lot of selling, guys. It's not like we went up there and were twisting people's arms. Now, the guy you're talking about, Bishop Davison, that guy took a little bit of arm twisting, I have to admit. But, yep. Gary, you remember, most of those offices we went to, they were like, sounds great. If only we could do it. That's perfect. Go ahead.
Didn't Bishop say something like, if that bill was there for him to vote on or something, because on the floor he'd vote for it?
Yes, he did.
Bringing it up in the session.
Yep.
Nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not picking on the dude or anything, but actually, he's not the only. I mean, he kind of outright said it, but everybody else, a lot of the others are the same way too. It's like, yeah, it needs to be done, but well, I don't know if we can bring it up.
Yeah, and that's the thing, but there's where our bottleneck may be, and that's part two. We'll go on with stories here in a second, gang, but let me tell you where the bottleneck is as far as we could tell. And we did a lot of reconnaissance up there. The bottleneck is, unfortunately, Lincoln Huff. Now, those of you who have been with us for a while might know him by his nickname, Crab Cakes. And I've got to stop doing that, because that doesn't serve me well. Even when I was up in Jeff City, I was saying, let's go to Crab Cake's office, and I got to stop doing that. It's juvenile.
If you do it at this point,
it's funny, though.
Everyone knows it now.
Yeah, I know.
Though.
Well,
it's never gonna go away.
Yeah, it won't go away, I know, but I don't need to encourage it.
Crab cake, always a crab cake.
Yeah.
Isn't he terming out anyway?
2024.
Crap.
So, no, crab.
He's going out with
crab.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going out with crab cakes.
Yeah. So, I'm going to tell you, he is our bottleneck right now. And I want to say, I'm going to say something, and I need you all to pay attention to what I'm about to say, because this is actually really critical. When visiting his office, his LA, who didn't make us feel welcome at all. In fact, we didn't even go inside of his office. She came to the doorway while we were standing in the hall. That's how welcome we felt in that office. She told us very specifically that she didn't care about removing sales tax on food, and she didn't want any phone calls about that either.
It'd be a bummer if anybody called.
So I'm just saying, she doesn't want constituents calling. telling him what, I don't know what to tell you, gang. So do with that information what you will, but I'll tell you what, I'll make it easier for you. So in case you didn't know what he looked like, let me actually bring up his picture here. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. Give me a second here, and I will go to senators. And where's Crab Cakes? Where's Crab Cakes? Oh, there he is.
I remember roughly what he looks like.
There's Crab Cakes right there on your screen right there. And please don't call him. His number is 573-751-1311. And apparently he doesn't want anyone calling. At least that's what his LA said. She didn't want anyone calling having to do with removing sales tax from food. Now, if you're a constituent of Lincoln Huff's, I would call and complain about the fact they don't want to hear about that. That's what I would do.
I would drive up to Jeff City.
Yeah, drive up to Jeff City. I mean, guys,
you could do that, it'd be even better.
You can't miss Lincoln Huff if you're up in Jeff City because he has perfect hair. It's always perfect, absolutely perfect.
He also looks like too much time for spray tan.
Yeah, something like that anyway. So
spray tan.
So once again, Lincoln Huff, and it looks like How, but it's pronounced Huff, Lincoln Huff. And please don't call him at all because he's been very specific about this. His number is 573-751-1311, and he doesn't want to hear anything about sales tax with food, apparently. So, LaTanya says she's going to call him. Well, I didn't tell you to call him. I specifically said don't call him. But if you want to, I guess that's up to you guys.
Hey, we didn't want you to call him, man. It's not like we can stop you.
Yeah, shoot, phone, man. You guys,
tell you what to do.
You guys are sovereign. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. I don't tell people what to do. I don't do that. That's
It'd be
not
a bummer if that number somehow randomly showed up at a truck stop bathroom.
Yep. Okay. To reiterate the number that you should not be calling, I'm actually putting it in the YouTube chat right now. The number.
And if you have a fax machine too.
Yep.
Definitely don't send a fax of anything.
Yeah, because they would have to pull that off and look at it, wouldn't they? Yeah, we don't want to see one of those.
Okay, gotcha. So once again, his name is Lincoln Huff, and it looks like How or something like that, or Hugh, but it's Huff. And he's the guy you're not supposed to call, by the way. His number is 573-751-1311. If you guys want to, visit with him or something, he doesn't want phone calls. I don't know why. I mean, he's got perfect hair. Compliment him on his hair when you see him. He loves it when you do that. So just let him know that you're kind of upset that you're not allowed to call to talk about the food tax, that the LA in the office there. So
go visit his LA too. She kind of needed to cheer up. She'd love to see those smiling faces of
I think
all the
so
people
too.
in that district.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for that, Grant. She's definitely, she was, she might have been in a bad mood for the last year or two. 2 years. In the last 2 years, she's been in a kind of a bad mood. So I think that maybe if you guys stop by and visit with her and everything, I mean, she'll come right up to that door frame and prevent you from coming in that office, and she'll chat away with you and with her. Just a wonderful disposition. So, at any rate, go ahead.
I wonder if the relationship, the workplace relationship between Huff and the LA is somewhat like a gaslighting abusive situation. Like maybe she needs.
I don't know. I mean,
getting out of that.
Yeah,
she hates her job. Yeah,
it's anyone's guess, but. Once again, his name is Lincoln Huff. Looks like something else, but it's pronounced Huff, like people who sniff airplane glue. Huff. Yeah. So that's the pronunciation. And the number you don't call ever, apparently, is 573-751-1311. And if you do happen to call by accident, don't mention anything about food tax because they don't want to hear it. I mean, she was very specific about that. So there we go. So that's the bottleneck. Guys, if those of you who want food tax done, what I just told you is the one bottleneck that we can see in the Senate. We don't see one in the House. We only see it in the Senate, and it happens to be Lincoln Huff. Please don't call him at 573-751-1311.
I think we got one in the House, too. because he had a perfect opportunity to put it on the floor back during session, and he just kept switching it back and forth.
But he doesn't have any power in this session. He's not a bottleneck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the governor session. So the unfortunate thing, if you remember, the intel we got was that Lincoln Huff has been basically given. He's how do I put it? He's the aggregate source for the governor for everything in the Senate, and then it was Ron, someone in the House. Gosh darn it, I can't remember his name. If I find out his name, I'll end up doing one more video. It's not Hicks.
But don't think
so.
Flocker doesn't have power behind the scenes, though.
No, I understand that, but once again, it's the governor's session. So he can't procedurally block something now during a governor's session the way he could during regular session. So
he doesn't like that.
Yeah, Huff is actually, I think, right now, if there's going to be a bottleneck, it's going to be Huff. So in his office did not want to hear anything about food tax, removal of food tax at all. Remember now, please do not call Lincoln Huff at 573-751-1311. If you accidentally call, remember, they don't want to hear anything about removal of sales tax on food. It doesn't matter if you're a constituent or not. She was very specific about that, guys, wasn't she? No phone calls, please. She literally said, I asked her, this is the question. I asked her, this is Lincoln Huff's LA, have you received any phone calls about the removal of sales tax from food? And she goes, no, and we don't need any. That was her.
That's a quote.
Yeah, that's exactly the way she said it. No, and we don't need any. And
the government would never lie, right?
Yeah, so I know. Okay, so at any rate, you guys have that information now, and once again, the number not to call Lincoln Huff is 573-751-1311. And also, guys, don't just concentrate there. I meant please call your senators, your reps. And once again, it's critical that you call the governor. I'm going to call the governor's office again on Monday morning. And I've called the governor's office 7 times. This will be the 8th time. But I always give my name when I call, so they don't think that, whatever. So, and we're trying to get meetings with the guy. So, I'm trying to stay on his good side right now. But let's see, crab cakes. Okay. Yep. So at any rate, Latanya says, I'll screenshot it. I'm going to tweet this thing out as well. Okay. Tweet and tag him. That's another thing. If you're on social media, Lincoln Huff is on Twitter and on Facebook. I'm just saying, so Lincoln Huff, the spelling of his name is right there. And you guys, I'll put it in the description section. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. You guys are just going to have to remember that because I don't want him coming after me on this. He's probably not going to watch the videos, but guys, I'm telling you, if there's a bottleneck to getting this elimination of sales tax on food, it's this man right here, Lincoln Huff. I think all of our intel pointed that way. There was one more guy in the House, but he was agreeable to it. And Lincoln Huff's office is the one that didn't want to hear anything about it, and they don't want any phone calls on it. So there you go. That's valuable intel. And we would not have known that if we hadn't gone up, by the way.
Yeah, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
So we can know what we know.
Reconnaissance. So,
Exactly.
So Braden's office was memorable to me, gang, just because of the sheer amount of people that were stuffed into his office, and he was all up in that getting rid of sales tax on food. He liked it. He wanted to know numbers, and I know that they can get numbers relatively quickly on this. So the numbers that were run for HB 1992, and that was when Mary Elizabeth Coleman did it for legislative 2022, was upwards of, I think, $160 million. So if food prices have doubled, which they virtually have since this time last year, that would be $320 million. So I do believe they have up to $700 million to cut. So this fits, and in fact, they could probably go further than that. But I think that that's something that's within the realm of possibility. And once again, legislatively, this would be so easy to get done because there's so much support on both sides of the aisle. Please keep your phone calls and your emails going, gang. Guys, if you've already emailed or called your senator or representative, I'm going to tell you, it would be worthwhile to do it one more time this week. They're meeting, I do believe, the caucus for the House. If they're going to have a caucus for the House, I'm not sure, but it'd probably be Wednesday. That's my guess right now. So Monday and Tuesday are critical days for getting information out, calling your representatives, calling your senators. So let's get her done. Let's get it done. And by the way, also, too, just so you know, on my side, which you guys don't see, I've composed a really nice letter about our visit up to Jeff City. And I'm going to email it to every single representative and every single senator in Missouri. They're all going to get it, even though we only visited with 63 of them, or them or their LAs. So every one of them is going to get a copy of this letter. So in it's pushing the, getting rid of the tax on food, plus the fact that it's a bipartisan issue. Everyone's agreeable to it, and it's something that we should all strongly consider, and it needs to be part of the conversation anyway. So at any rate, so I'm doing that on my side. So I'm going to be sending out 200 emails. Literally probably be finished with it Monday morning. So, and the letter's done. It's just I don't have a setup for emailing all of them. And so, I have to do it one by one, but I will get it done. Let's see, if food prices have doubled or more, so have the taxes on that food. I agree with you, Gary. That's why I'm thinking if Mary Elizabeth came up with $160 million this time last year, then it's going to be $320 million now. However, the official indice says that food prices have only gone up 13% in the last year, but we all know it's just an absolute falsehood. It's way more than 13% in the last year. Way more. But that's what the federal government is saying. It's like if we repeat a lie long enough, people will believe it. Like, saying, for years and years and years, we had 2% inflation. John Williams at Shadow Stats tracked this stuff. Inflation was 10% for 15 years, 10% a year. Now we're climbing above 20 into 25% inflation right now. And the federal government's saying, oh, no, it's 9% inflation. The government always lies on inflation. They always have, and they always will. Because there's certain...
They would never do that.
They do. They fib. They absolutely fib. So the Federal Reserve fibs, the federal government fibs. So, yeah, there's a little bit of fibbing going on. Okay.
I'm shocked.
Let's see. Voodoo Queen says, well, now she's getting a call and a fax. Don't shut us out. If you're referring to the L.A. and Lincoln Huff's office, be sure to fax her a smiley face there, Voodoo Queen. I think she needs it. Just a big old smiley face and say, have a nice day.
Well, it needs to be have a nice day on top, and then the smiley face just needs to be upside down.
Yep, something like that.
Let's
see. Yeah. Show me state news now. We had the 37th district judge handcuffed people on the public sidewalk and summoned into a courtroom for federal press conference. Yeah, show me state news now, guys. That's a guy who's got a channel right here in Missouri, and he's basically going after people that are anti-First Amendment, anti-Second Amendment, anti-constitutional people that are in elected office in the state of Missouri. And we need to talk, sir, so please do email me at patrick@mofree.org. I'm talking to the Show Me State News Now guy. Please do send me an email. We need to communicate, buddy.
Hey, what happened to that guy? You said the FBI went?
Yeah, there's a video. He did a video about it. So actually do a quick search on YouTube for Show Me State News Now. And go ahead and sub to his channel. There's other channels we need to sub to right now, too. If you guys have not subbed to John Williams at the Missouri Liberty Report, I highly recommend it. He is interviewing Missouri politicians, the very people that we talked to up in Jeff City. So he's listed right down below in my description section as a partner. He's partnered with our channel. So just click right down there. You'll find him, and please sub to his channel. But now we have a new guy, and so his channel is, let's see, it is Constitution Grassroots Movement, so CGM. So if you guys wouldn't mind, I will find, in fact, give me a little bit on that, and I will get you, because I need to stretch out this screen. Otherwise, I'm not going to get anything done. When it's something small like that, I can't get anything done. So let's go back to his live stream.
You need a couple of really big screens there.
Well, I do actually, kind of. Copy. Okay, I'm putting the new guy, and the new guy, his name is Jesse Rude, and he's got his own story to tell, and he is actually right here in the state of Missouri. We're lucky enough to have him. He is a refugee from the great state of Washington, and is fleeing tyranny and came to Missouri, and he's liking what he's finding here, and he had a liberty movement himself in Washington. And so at any rate, he's moving his operation right here to Missouri, where he sees, there's a lot of other people that think the same way. So we'll go ahead and give him some love, guys. Go ahead and sub to his channel down there. We'll be working with him, and he'll be working with us, just like we work with John Williams at the Missouri Liberty Report. Guys, we have got to, stick together on this stuff. And by the way, I had a great discussion with Jesse on his channel today. Yeah, and Jesse says his name is Rude in name only. He's not rude in real life. So, something that we talked about briefly is there's a lot of groups out there, a lot of grassroots movements, but there's not a lot of activity within them. They're not actually doing anything. They become echo chambers, Facebook groups, even on Signal and Twitter. Gosh darn it, they're on Twitter too, by the way. And it just becomes a friend network where they equally complain about how bad the federal government is. We don't want that. We can't have that because that doesn't get anything done. And so, but at any rate, Jesse was pointing that out on his channel as well, when we were talking. I think, basically, if we could get some of those people kind of liberated, basically from, the echo chamber, I think, we'd be a lot better off. But I don't know how much time I want to spend on that. Jesse's active, and he's doing stuff. John's active and doing stuff. In fact, John, is a veteran now going up to Jeff City. He's been up there several times now. So Casey Rich, Grant, Rusty Shackelford here. Rusty's name, by the way, is John. So just so you guys know, his real name is John. So we have a lot of really good folks that keep going up to Jeff City, and we're making a difference. We're actually changing things. But the phone calls and emails are important too. For those who can't go up, phone calls are preferable. If you can't do phone calls, then go to email. Remember the pecking order. Visit comes first, and after that is a handwritten letter or a phone call. Literally talking to your representative on the phone. And then after that comes, a standard email that you wrote yourself. And the last thing that they look at or even consider important is a computer-generated email. Like if you get on the NRA's website, hey, send this out to all of your representation. And they, it's a mass email that's already been pre-produced. They don't think much of those up there in Jeff City, trust me. I mean, I talk to these guys. I ask them, what is the most effective? How can people affect your decision, in actually the most efficient and direct way? And they said, always, it's a visit. Come up and visit. We'll sit down. We'll listen to what you have to say. And, basically we'll take that into consideration. Phone calls right after that, gang. So thank you guys for coming up to Jeff City. And I think we made a difference. We won't know this for at least probably about another week or so. We'll find out whether or not we really actually did make a difference. But our work is not done. I'm sending out 200 emails. We need to keep making phone calls and sending emails. And guys, you can go outside your own senator and representative if you want to. Now, I don't recommend, I'm not saying you have to. I do it, but you don't have to. I mean, I don't want you guys to think that, you have to do, 400 phone calls in a day or something like that. I'm not trying to say that sort of thing, but it does help. So, and Latanya is saying she just subscribed to Constitutional Grassroots. Excellent. Thank you, Latanya. Yeah, Jesse.
Well, I'd even add Patrick too. Just with election season going on, like anyone watching this or in the chat, if you're helping a state rep or state senator door knocking, and you have other reps in that state reps in that county or Senate where the lines border, like calling those people too, because at least they're in your area, and if people that live in their district and they don't want to make a phone call and be like, hey, I know lots of people that are in your district that are interested in this. And at least, keeping it local helps out. a lot too.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, and Show Me State News Now. Please do send me that email, and I'm going to email you my number. And if you don't mind, I'd love to talk with you a little bit, and basically see if we can include you in our network. I think we should, with the kind of work you're doing there. And by the way, this guy actually does videos on the spot, in right outside of courthouses, right outside of police offices, and actually shows some of the problems that they're dealing with. So. At any rate, yeah, please do send me an email, patrick@mofree.org. That's my email address. It's also it's easy to find on our website or on the YouTube channel or anything. So, okay, Voodoo subscribed. Okay, thank you very much. Yep, Jesse, I predict a very long, productive friendship with Jesse at Constitutional Grassroots Movement. I had a long chat with Jesse up in Nevada, Missouri, about a month and a half ago. Maybe 5 weeks ago, and he was up there for a fundraiser for Robert Smith. So I got a really good chance to meet him and talk to him, and so did John. And John may have known him before that. I'm not sure if you knew him before that. You did?
Yeah, he actually helped me find. I was doing the Push for Liberty podcast. He actually turned me on to Robert the first time he ran for, I believe, U.S. House, and some other constitutional candidates in like Indiana and Michigan, things like that. So I don't remember exactly how I came to know Jesse. Yeah, he and I have known each other for the past few years. It's just at Robert's event, that was the first time I actually got to see him face to face.
Yep. So, and Jesse's not the first person that I've talked to that was part of the Liberty Movement in Washington before it got taken over by communism. That was a very, very interesting, in fact, you know what? Maybe that's something that we need to do at some point in time is actually talk to Jesse about that. Next time Jesse can come into the chat, because we know a lot of people that have moved here from Washington, and it's all been in the last year. And so, once they saw that their law enforcement and their government were going to do nothing about Chaz or whatever that 16 square block area that the Antifa had taken over in Washington State, I think a lot of people said it's time to throw in the towel. We're done. It's time to stick a fork in us. We're done. Okay.
Just to add to that very quickly, he said he knows a few others within the next year that will also be making the trip to move to Missouri.
Awesome. Okay, they would be welcome here.
They're liberty-minded, yeah, definitely welcome here. Liberty-minded.
Nice.
Yep, so you guys know what the call to action is. Again, it's down in the description section. Emails and phone calls, very critical. Guys, I actually feel that we actually got a shot at this, for removing sales tax from food. And by the way, just to let you know how far we've come, 3 weeks ago, it wasn't even on the radar. It wasn't even on the radar for a special session at all. None. Nothing. And now they can't stop talking about it up in Jeff City. So thank you very much to everyone who is participating in this project we call, basically the Missouri Freedom Initiative. We're here to bring freedom to the people. We're to get our freedoms and our liberties back and to stop them from taking any more. That's what we do. And we're partnering up with the likes of John Williams, the Missouri Liberty Report, our new friend Jesse Rude here. We're just growing the network, gang, and we're getting more active and we're getting more people active. And so it's a beautiful thing, and it's going to work real well, too. Show Me State News Now. Please do your email again. I'm sorry. I didn't catch it the first time, so throw your email in again. And you guys, go ahead. If you guys had anything that you wanted to say, basically about the visit or as things you remember you'd like to share?
Can I ask a question?
You sure can.
No.
Okay, so can we go from crab cakes to stinking Lincoln?
I don't know if we can. That's the weird part. Crab cakes is so stuck now. I mean, it's.
I think crab cakes is a perfect nickname.
Yeah.
Lincoln was the original rhino.
All right, man. Crab cakes, dude. It's Nothing against steak and Lincoln, but crab cakes.
I like crab cakes.
We got to finish out strong with that.
Crab cakes. It's only 2. Yeah, he's only got 2 years left. Got to keep it crab cakes.
We got to stick with what brought us to the dance. we got to finish what we started. We got to get the job done.
You got to go home with the guy who brung you, huh?
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You got to sit him out with a pair of claws and a shell.
A little beach pail and a little shovel.
Oh,
God.
There you go, crab cakes.
Bury himself.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Should we, on his last day, should we send him like a big gift certificate to
Red Lobster?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good idea. There is a Red Lobster in Springfield, and that's the town he represents, or at least part of it anyway.
Hey, they got Joe's Crab Shack in his area. We need to send it. Get it.
Make sure it's made with fake crab.
That would be a good gift.
Hey, Patrick, did you intend to switch which screen is broadcasting? Because it looks like it's just the sunset in the background now.
Oh. No,
now
that should switch back.
Yeah, I did. It switched back. It's delayed.
Yep. Okay, it was requested. Email address, the official organizational email address is posted. patrick@mofree.org. And we hope to expand that in the future. Go ahead.
I don't think crab cakes deserves real crab. He deserves a fake crab. No,
Well,
I think Red Lobster's a little too fancy for that.
Hey, Rusty, you sure he don't deserve real crabs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is family friendly, man. This is family.
Hey! I didn't say anything. That's. I didn't. You guys got dirty minds.
Patrick, get your mind out of the gutter.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, it's just I don't know. It's anathema for me to even think that with such perfect hair, you know.
You know what would be ironic? Tell him to go get that fake, give him a Walmart gift card, and tell him to go get the imitation crab made out of Alaskan pollock.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what he does deserve. He deserves to know that, people want, basically the sales tax removed from groceries. Despite the fact his LA very specifically stated she wanted no phone calls coming in on that. I think that, maybe I'm going to make a phone call. You know what? Gosh darn it, guys. Maybe I should do a phone call right now. Hang on one second.
I think so.
Yeah,
Voodoo Queen says, "Hang on." Voodoo Queen says, "I see it. I see dusting in his future."
Yeah, dusting is not the right word. And it's not trolling either. Well, actually, dusting is. Thank you, Voodoo. Dusting is the right word. Okay, hang on one second, gang, while I work this out, because I got to get my phone on my handy dandy road thing, whatever you call it, the interface. Okay, and settings, Bluetooth, and Roadcaster Pro. There we go. Okay, now to get his number, which I put on the screen accidentally several times.
Imagine that.
Yeah, well, it was an accident, gang. Okay.
Yeah, stuff happens.
It does. It does. Okay, hang on
Hey,
one
Grant,
second.
You're running for House of Representatives, right? For the General Assembly? I mean, the Missouri House of Representatives.
Me?
751.
Or who was that?
That's
Okay.
Robert.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Robert.
My bad.
All right, I'm calling his voicemail now, gang.
Yeah, you're right. That was Robert. That was right. And Robert was good. Like, he was damn good. I think he makes it. That's a big win for Missouri.
Hold up, he's calling. Give him a second.
You've reached the office of Senator Lincoln Huff. Please leave a detailed message and we will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
You may start your message now.
Happy Constitution Day, Senator Huff. Hey, it's Saturday. It is the 17th of September, and happy Constitution Day to you. I thought I'd celebrate by giving you a phone call. My name is Patrick Holland, Missouri Freedom Initiative, and I thought that maybe I talked to your LA when I was there on the 14th, and she didn't want any phone calls, but I figured it's Constitution Day, sir, and you love the Constitution as much as I do. We might want to look at actually getting rid of sales tax on food in the state of Missouri in the special session that's coming up week. So at any rate, I just thought I'd let you know that that's on my mind, and I wanted to wish you, sir, a happy Constitution Day. Have a wonderful weekend, sir. Talk to you later, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, guys, I've called crab cakes.
That was beautifully passive-aggressive.
Yep. Did you guys like that? Yeah, crab cakes. Okay, so go ahead.
I was gonna say I was gonna say Grant and Robert. They both had great arguments when we were up there in Jeff City. That's why I got y'all confused. Yeah, y'all, we're knocking it out the park.
Yeah. Hey, Latanya King is leaving us for the night on YouTube land. Latanya, thank you very much for joining us tonight. She says she's working on a canning video. Let us know when you have the video. So, maybe we can share that out through our network here. A lot of our folks are preppers, learning, learning how to can for the first time. My wife and I have been canning for years. But those who have never done it before, an instructional video goes a long way. So thank you for doing that, Latanya. Okay, so at any rate, I called up Senator Huff, but I will be emailing every single person up in Jeff City by Monday morning. Every one of them will have an email from me, and it will be about the visit and how positively the idea was taken by so many people across the aisle. And so at any rate, hopefully that'll help out a little bit too. But guys, we can't give up on the fight. If we want to get rid of sales tax on food, we got to keep striking while the iron is hot. And I'm thinking that we'll have to stop hitting the anvil probably Wednesday afternoon. By then, I don't think there's any more changes that can be made to the agenda. We either get it on the agenda or we don't by then. So at any rate, that's the message for tonight. I'm sorry, let me open it up again for anyone else who had any other stories from when we were up there.
Yeah, I got one. You probably have to get on Gilded after the.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, I know the story you're going to tell.
An awesome opportunity.
Yep.
I screwed up.
Yep, but we definitely won't talk about it on the video, though. So that's right. We don't need a September 14th committee up in Jefferson City going on for the next couple of years. So, all right. Okay.
Okay, you got to stay on after, and I got to hear about this.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's see. Okay, I'm looking through everything that you guys typed in here and see if I missed anything that we need to talk about. And Gary Ride, you have my word. We're going to talk about some of the rhinos up in Jeff City, who they are, and so we can all be aware who they are. But we're not going to do that in this particular video, particularly in the Senate. That's the critical one for talking about rhinos. Okay. All right. I think we've covered everything. So if anyone has any questions or comments or anything else, please do throw them up, because I'm thinking we're probably going to end the broadcast here in a little bit. I'd like to thank Jesse again for the opportunity to be on Constitution Day, a video that he had run on his channel. And that channel, once again, is the one that I put up on the chat a little while ago. I'm going to put it up one more time. I know a lot of you sub to it. And let's see. Constitution Grassroots Movement. And like I said, I have a very sneaking suspicion that Jesse's going to be walking the halls with us in Jeff City here real soon and helping to beat the drum for liberty in the state of Missouri. And actually, his organization focuses on other states too, kind of all states. But he lives in Missouri, and we have him here. So, we're the lucky ones. So thank you again, Jesse, for having me on. He had John on the show, too. If you guys want to go back, look at his channel. It's the live stream that he had today. And that's actually when, he had both John and myself on. So, and Robert Smith was on his channel today, too, as well. So, and Robert Smith, that's right. That's another guy I'd like to compliment. Robert Smith, who is running for representative, Missouri representative, House District 125, actually took the day off from campaigning to go up to Jeff City and push for the removal of sales tax on food. And I didn't see anyone else who is campaigning for office go up there and try to, get something good for the people done. It's funny, isn't it? How many people are running for office, yet, on a critical day, we're talking about tax breaks. Tax breaks, guys. This is how serious this is. The governor has opened up the door for tax breaks in the state of Missouri. When's the last time that has happened? 6 years ago, maybe? There's a lot of people campaigning right now. Where were they on September 14th? Where were they? Well, Robert Smith, who is running for office, was actually up there in Jeff City, literally knocking on doors and talking to people about elimination of the food tax in the state of Missouri. He wasn't campaigning for office up there. No one cares up there. He was up there for the people. So kudos to Robert Smith. And let's see if I can find, I think I may have had. Does anyone know what Robert Smith's website is?
I don't know.
Showmesmith.com. Smith for Missouri. Okay. Because I respect what Robert did.
Yeah, at showmesmith.com.
Yep.
It's actually, if you scroll back in that.
Yep, and out of respect for him, he's not even with us tonight. Out of respect for him and taking taking a whole day off 6 weeks before the election, because he's working full-time on his campaign, gang. He took a full day off to represent the people of Missouri to try and get sales tax removed from food. There's his website right there. And we don't, endorse anyone with our organization, but I'm just going to tell you that I have an awful lot of respect for that man, going up there and doing what he did on September 14th. And once again,
that's not the only time he's been up there. He goes up there a lot.
No, I understand that, but this close to the election, he took the day off, to go up there and to try and get sales tax removed on food.
Saying. I mean, he's actually, not only is he campaigning, but he's actually up there trying to work stuff to make it happen.
Absolutely.
So you got to, as a representative, go to bat for you.
Yep. So, yep, you can donate to Robert on his website. If you feel moved to do so, please do so. But pretty much that's pretty much all I have, gang. If you guys have anything that I've missed or anything we need to talk about, any more stories, but remember, the call to action has not changed. It's still the same as it was literally 3 weeks ago when we started this campaign. It's call the governor, email the governor. That's the most important thing. If you haven't done that, at least do that. That's the critical one. And then after you're done doing that, and if you feel like making a few more phone calls and a few more emails, hit your senator and your rep. And be sure and let them know when you call them that you, in fact, I didn't even do that with crab cakes. Shame on me. I didn't tell him that I called the governor on this. And I need to do that when I make my phone calls. Actually, I do. I just didn't think about it. I thought about making it as funny as possible to entertain you guys, really. But, and so I think his Lincoln Huff deserved a phone call like that after how his LA treated us up there, in my opinion.
Yeah. I got a couple things I'd like to bring up.
Sure thing.
All right. Okay, first one is just so everyone knows, Dean Blocker has a Democratic opponent in the general election, and I checked the guy's website, and he actually come out in favor of taking the sales tax off food. And he also brought up the fact that Blocker had the opportunity to pass Coleman's bill in 1992, and he shelved it. So I'll tell you what, anybody living in that district not satisfied with Blocker, there's something to keep in mind.
Okay, you're talking District 89, House District 89, is that right?
Yep. That's
okay,
right.
So apparently he does have a challenger then in District 89, is that correct?
That's correct.
And hang on a second. Let me be sure about this. So we're absolutely positively sure on this. He has come out on his website in favor of removing sales tax from food?
That's correct.
Okay, well, that's something Dean Blocker has never done.
He's also brought up the fact that Blocker didn't allow Coleman's bill, taking sales tax off food to even get on the floor.
Yep.
So he's even aware of that. So, hey, you live in Blocker's district, you're not happy at dude, you might want to check that out. And another thing also another interesting fact about that, if anybody thinks Dean Blocker's got this sewed up, this guy that's run against him is getting no support from the Democratic Party. And he actually ran against Blocker 2 years ago. He didn't get no support from the Democratic Party. He pulled 40% of the vote back then. This kid only spent, he spent only $6,000 on his campaign last time. Blocker spent, $120,000. He could only get a 60-40 on him. All right. And this year in the primaries, both of them ran unopposed. But Blocker pulled like 3,000 votes in his primary. This guy got almost 6,000 votes in his primary. So,
yep.
I'll tell you what, man, Blocker ain't bulletproof. And another thing I want to bring up is actually this is a message. If I know Warrior Class 3 was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he still is, but Warrior Class, you still in the chat? You hear me? Check the video, John's video from last night, and I seen something you put in the comments section. Go look in the comments I put in the video. Check that out. You might find that kind of interesting. It's kind of directed towards you, Warrior Class. So you might want to check that out. Okay, that's all I got for the moment.
Okay, well, that's actually super informative. Thank you very much for that, Casey. Okay, yep. So if you guys know of anyone in District 89, District 89 is Chesterfield, I think. It's the county seat maybe, or the district seat, something like that. If you guys know anyone that lives in Plocker's district, be sure and let them know he does have a challenger, and he is definitely for removal of sales tax from food. And Plocker clearly is not, because he wouldn't even let it out on the floor, despite all the phone calls and emails going in for it legislatively during 2022. That's
also
interesting.
Plocker's opponent here has a lot of problems with a lot of this ag stuff, this ag agenda that the governor's bringing forth. So there's another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, might be something you want to look at.
I will say too, I wouldn't exactly be disappointed with that district winding up in the minority group in the House.
Here's the thing: anybody that's Republican, and you're not happy with what Plocker's doing, you're in that district. I tell you right now, man. A lot of people say, "Well, I don't like a lot of Democratic agenda." But you got to understand something. If this guy wins, he's going to be in the minority. All right. So it's not like he can do much damage with whatever, with anything that you disagree with. Whereas Plocker stopped everything we try to do that's good, which he did last session.
Yep.
So he's the one who's really got the power, and he's not doing it in favor of the citizens of Missouri. I would say this other guy, man, put him, and he's also for transparency and stuff like that too. I mean, he's a Democrat. He's got Democratic issues and stuff like that he follows. But you look at Plocker, Plocker's far more dangerous because he actually has power and he wields it and he shuts everything down. Whereas this guy he ain't gonna have that kind of power.
Well,
so that's something everybody might want to keep in mind here in Plocker's district.
Yep. I got to tell you, I mean, when we went to Plocker's office, he wasn't there on September 14th, but his LA was, and she was just as nice as could be. So,
well, considering he is floor leader, actually, what is it? They moved him to speaker now or something?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what they're.
Okay. So they could have been afraid that someone was going to put their feet up on his desk if his office was open.
Oh, that would be a shame if something like that happened. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So,
By the way, I have a story to tell y'all once this is over.
Okay, once this is over. Hey, listen, gang, we're going to wrap it up here. And you may have missed out on being in the conversation live with us in Gilded, but you haven't missed, basically chatting with us. You can come in anytime. Anyone is welcome, particularly people from Missouri. Now, others are welcome as well. But everyone that you see here, with the exception of Chaos Craig, is actually in the state of Missouri working legislatively to help the state of Missouri become a more free state with more liberties for all people equally. That's what the food tax does, gang. There is not a single tax that is more equally applied across the land than removal of sales tax on food. It's like the perfect choice for, basically tax reduction, which is what the governor has called for. Please help us out. If you haven't called the governor or emailed the governor, start there. Links are right down below in the description section. Please call and email the governor, then call and email your senator, your representative, and if you have more time, call your neighboring districts, representation and senators. Please do. They'd love to hear from you. They definitely want to hear from you. And most of the people we talked to on September 14th, on Wednesday, most of them had heard from constituents about the removal of sales tax from food, but some of them claimed they had received no phone calls at all on that issue. So I hope that email will help with that, but the email is going to come from the organization, not from me as an individual. So that's why I'm doing it, and I'm not asking anyone to help. I do want it to come directly from the organization, because the organization kind of, did this, on September 14th. But this stuff doesn't come all on its own. Trust me, we have to work for it no matter what. And I want to thank all of you who have been a part of this and actually have helped with this. There are people out there that don't watch us, don't even know we exist, that are in the state of Missouri, that would love for the sales tax to be removed. So please talk to your friends, your family, your coworkers. Please let them know about us, the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Please let them know what we're doing. And we are all about lower taxes. Trust us. This is, one thing. We're into small government, low taxes, as much freedom for the people as humanly possible. That's what we're about. But keeping in mind, everything we do is constitutional. Nothing that we would do actually goes away from the Missouri or the federal Constitution. And that's what's so beautiful about this, removing the sales tax on food. It fits all the constitutional requirements in the state of Missouri. Whereas the others do not, believe it or not, as oddly enough. Okay, so and once again, last call for anyone to get in any final comments before we wrap her up. Any questions in YouTube land, throw them out at us. And once again, please do subscribe to Constitutional Grassroots Movement. Please do subscribe. Jesse is our new friend here, and he has been running a grassroots organization in the state of Washington, and he is a refugee. He has landed in Missouri, and we're very grateful to have him. So, once again, he knows how to do this kind of stuff. So, once again, this is a very, very good thing for Missouri when you have active organizations, not passive organizations that are echo chambers on Facebook. I'm sorry, go ahead. Is someone going to say something? No? Okay. So, and then also Show Me State News Now. Guys, go ahead and sub to his channel right here on YouTube, and I'm going to be in contact with him very, very soon, and we're going to see what we can get going with him as well. See if we can get our networks together, for everything liberty and Constitution in the state of Missouri. And Show Me News Now. I've got a lot of stories to share with you about our group and what we've done so far. Okay, and I got your email, by the way, so I'll be emailing you. Okay, and Warrior Class says, good job, guys. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Warrior Class. Please, phone calls and emails, guys. Phone calls and emails. We can do it. Pass it on. Pass it on. I mean, have your family members do it, too. In fact, you could even have your kids call. I mean, shoot, kids are affected by sales tax on food, too, when they go to the grocery store. So this affects all of us. And this has nothing to do with who works and who doesn't work. It's about who goes to the grocery store, and who is that? Virtually everyone. So, yeah. So we'll keep on it. And Ron Calzone, by the way, I forgot to show you guys. Ron Calzone did an opinion piece, a brand new opinion piece. It's right here on the screen, but I'm going to share it on YouTube land. And he was calling for the removal of sales tax from food in Missouri. All of it. Not just state, but county and city. That's what we're calling for as well. There's no reason to have sales tax on food in the state of Missouri. They have plenty of money. They don't need that money. So if you guys please take a look at basically what Ron had written. And he does, Ron always does a good job, but he's joined the bandwagon as well. Okay. And Voodoo says, thanks, guys. So proud of the organization. Well, I'll tell you what, Voodoo, you're a very big part of this organization. Let me tell you a little bit about
you, Voodoo.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about what Voodoo does real quick. Voodoo is not only our email queen, she's our fax queen. She has access to a fax machine and has a landline and can actually send faxes. I can't because I don't have a landline. And when we were defeating HJR 79, I'm not going to give you the names of the people I was talking to, but I did hear back. Would you believe, and this is a senator talking to another senator with a constituent in the room, yeah, I'm getting faxes on shutting down HJR 79. I haven't gotten a fax from someone in, months. And then I get this fax, shut down HJR 79. That was Voodoo Queen. And so she had faxed everyone in the Senate, at least the Senate. I'm not sure if you did the House, but it had an impact. And they read the faxes that came in. So, guys, Voodoo
that
Queen
would work.
Yeah, I know. It was incredible, actually. But I already told Voodoo about this privately. She knows about, the fax having an effect. But also, too, she is a prolific emailer. And she has helped out a great deal with emailing people in the state of Missouri when we're on a campaign to get some good legislation passed or to stop bad legislation. So thank you for all you do, Voodoo Queen. You're a very, very big part of us. Thank you. And she just did the Senate on that one, on shutting down HJR 79. That's right, because it already went through the House. It went through the House like feces through a goose. I forgot about that. And it was in the Senate, and we were shutting it down there. Okay. So, okay, gang. Well, that's all we have for you for tonight. Remember now, the call to action has not changed. You guys know exactly what to do. Please help us. Guys, we've got very little time left to be successful on this. And remember now, if we're successful on this now, this is the critical thing. If we get this done now during the governor's special session, that means January 1st of this year, or 2023, sales taxes get removed from food. If we don't get it done till legislatively next year, then it's January 1st of 2024 that sales taxes get removed from food. So let's give it a good, by the way, all the effort's good no matter what. If we fail and don't get this done in the governor's special session, we have definitely paved the road for getting it done in 2023. It's pretty much a done deal for 2023 because of all the attention it's getting now, all the conversations that are happening on it, plus the fact it satisfies all three sections of the Missouri Constitution for a tax cut. So there's no way they can ignore this if they want to cut taxes. They have to make it part of the conversation, and it's the obvious choice because it affects the most people. Plus, everyone gets to wear the red cape when they go home. So it's just a win-win-win-win-win. It checks all the boxes. Okay. All right. Well, guys, anything else?
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Okay, gotcha.
See that game against San Diego? Oh, man. That was a good one.
I hope everyone has a safe, fun weekend, and take care.
Hey, that's awesome, John. Thank you. And I'm going to echo John's statements by saying thank you for joining us tonight, Constitution Day, September 17th, 2022. We appreciate your participation. We appreciate you just watching our videos and to find out what we're up to, what we're doing. And gosh darn it, guys, I love you. Thank you so much for helping make Missouri the best, freest state in the union. We've got a lot of work to do, but see how quickly it goes? You know, how fast we can get things done. Look at, who would have thought that we would have actually have gotten something, you know, right now it looks like we might actually get something in the special session, and that seemed impossible 3 weeks ago. It was just an idea. And now it looks like it may come to fruition. That's what happens when enough people come together and actually make phone calls and emails and a visit to Jeff City, and boom, things happen. So God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for everything you do. Please let your families and your neighbors and your friends know about us. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And hopefully, by the end of this video here, we will have earned your subscription. We are working for the people of Missouri. There's no payment in this. Trust me, there's no money in this. We just want freedom. And for those of us who actually work this system and put our time and our blood and our tears and our sweat into actually making Missouri freer, maybe we'll be an inspiration to other states to do the same thing. So that's another beautiful payoff. And then also, too, I understand there's someone in North Dakota that wants to talk to us or, you know, find out more about our organization because they're going to do something similar up there. And I just found that out from Jesse a couple hours ago. Okay, gang. Well, thank you once again for joining. May God bless each and every one of you. You guys have a terrific evening. Take care, gang.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Chiefs.